Hi guys, welcome back to another tutorial. So in this tutorial we'll be needing our basic bodice front, and I'll go ahead to cut this on fold for the sake of this tutorial. Okay, I'll go ahead to cut this on fold for the sake of this tutorial because we'll be needing it on fold in order to make this tutorial explanatory. So having done that, I'm gonna have to impute my darts and also my neckline, which is 3.5 inches deepness, and also my shoulder line. And having done that also, I'll go ahead to do same to the back piece. I'm actually making this as a peplum top, okay, but we are focusing on that neckline. Also it's a stylish peplum top, okay, the neckline. So I'm going to have to get 2 pieces of the back. We'll also be needing it like so for the sake of this tutorial. I've imputed my darts where necessary, just the basic darts for the back. Okay, so having done that, now I'm going to be placing the front on my body just so I know where is my left and my right for the sake of this tutorial. And having done that, I'm labeling my right and my left. So as you can see for this tutorial, I also go ahead to use that same front to label the back also, to know where is the right back and the front back. Sorry, to know where is the right back and the left back. So putting the shoulder of the 2 sides together, right back and front back together. So having done that, I'll go ahead to impute my princess seam lines from the mid of my armhole. You can use your armhole princess seam at whatever place you want, but I'm using my mid armhole. So having done that, now I'll be using my French curve to draw in the line up to my bust point like I'm doing in this video. I'll also go ahead to do that on the other side. Okay, please be careful, watch carefully, and you understand everything because I made this video to be very explanatory. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel, do so to subscribe because we'll have so many interesting videos coming up on this channel. So having done that, now I'll be using the sleeve to attach to the right side of the bodice because of the way the inset band is. On one of the right side, if you watch, the band went down to the sleeve. Okay, so I'll be taping the center sleeve to the tip of the shoulder of the right side of the front bodice, like so, just as you're seeing me doing now. That's what you're going to be doing also. So I'm going ahead to tape it down center of the sleeve to the tip of the shoulder where the armhole side is. I just hope that makes sense here, just as I'm doing now. So having done that, also for the back, same thing. I'm going to be taping it also from the center of the sleeve to the tip of the shoulder where the armhole is. And I'm going to be using a tape rule to hold that. I'm going to be using my sellotape to hold that down also. This is because of the nature of that inset band at the right side of the dress, at the right side of the blouse. So having done that, I'm going to be getting an additional paper to fill in this gap. Okay, to fill in this gap, I'm going to be using an additional paper to fill it up. Okay, and I'll be using my sellotape to hold this down in place. If there's anything you want to say, just put your comment in the comment section and I'll reply you as soon as possible. But this video is very explanatory. Trust me, it's very explanatory. So I'll be taking off the excess so it gets out of the way and I know what I'm doing. So having done that, now focusing on that very right side, we are going to be working on getting that very inset band on the right side, which looks like a collar sort of, on the right side of this blouse. So I'm going to measure 2 inches from the tip of my sleeve from the tip of my sleeve 2 inches, and I'm going to be making an artistic design like the one of the original dress we are trying to recreate, like so. I'm going to be making an artistic curve or design, whatever you want to call it, like so. Okay, so having done that, I'm also going to be going down by 1/2 inch on the tip of the shoulder, 1/2 inch on the tip of the shoulder. Okay, so drawing out my artistic line, also I'm trying to make it visible. Okay, I'll go ahead to use a marker to make this visible, just so you guys can see it clearly. So I'll be putting it down. Look at where I'm putting it, on this very side of the dart, please, not on the buster part, not on the nipple to nipple line, on this very first side. So I want to make sure that this design stops at my underbust. So I'll go ahead to mark my underbust line. Actually, from my shoulder, mid shoulder to my underbust is 13 inches. So I'm going ahead to mark that 13 inches down on both sides, and I'm going to be drawing a straight line to connect them, like so. I just want to make sure that design stops at my underbust. Okay, also I'll be going ahead to contour my underbust. I'm going ahead to draw it now, and I'll go ahead to contour my underbust. If you've been following my videos, you should get used to princess seam pattern, contouring of underbust, and all that by now. Okay, so that's basically what I'm doing now. I'm going ahead to contour my underbust, and just like we do from a nipple to nipple point or bust apart measurement, we take 1 inch or 0.8 inches on both sides, and you'll be connecting it to your bust point and to the waistline on both sides also. So I haven't done that now. Okay, we've contoured this pattern because it's going to be fitted apart from the peplum part of it. So we want to also draw the shape of the upper part of this very particular inset band. That's actually, it's an inset band, but I'll just use cape so you understand, of this very particular cape. So using my pen, I'm going to be drawing the shape like so, and also making it to join the lower part of the line that I've already drawn. And I'll be going in with my marker to make this kind of visible so you guys can see it clearly. Okay, so I found out that this very first line is very high. As you can see, it's almost close to our neckline, and that's not the way it is for the original dress that we are recreating. So I had to come down by 1.5 inch, and I'm marking asterisk showing that we are no longer using this very particular line. Please, I'm sorry for that. We're no longer using this very particular line. So I went ahead to mark 3 inches from that very part of the sleeve to this very top is 3 inches. I went ahead to mark 3 inches. Okay, and I think that 3 inches also will be okay for me. So I also decided to add 1/2 inch just to make it bigger, just so it's bolder, meaning it's now 3.5 inches. Okay, the cape of that very particular right hand side is 3.5 inches from the sleeve, from the center sleeve line, just like so, to the cape is 3.5 inches. Okay, so going over to the back part of it, I added an additional paper to the center back where the neckline is, just so it's high a bit than the normal center, than our normal neckline. I want the cape to be higher than our normal neckline, so I added an additional paper to that very part. Okay, so from that paper that I added down to 3 inches, that is where I'll be using as the cape of the back, and I'll be connecting it like so. And also the front part, I'll be connecting it to meet that of the front. Okay, from the neckline part of the back, I'll be connecting it to meet that of the point. Also, I'll be using my marker to trace this out, just so it's visible and you're seeing it clearly, so you understand what we are doing. Don't worry, as time goes on, you understand. I've gone ahead also to mark my center, which is very important. Please, the center is very important. So having done this now, I'm going to be also make sure your center back is in place. So this part that I'm ruling out now is the part we are needing for our cape, just like so. I'm going to label front and back and also the center. So this is the part that we'll be needing for the inset band or cape, whichever one is convenient for you to understand. So having done this now, we are going over to the other side of the blouse, which is the left hand side. Okay, you know that left hand side, the cape of it it didn't get to the sleeve. It's only started from the shoulder. So I'm going to be joining the shoulder of the left front and the shoulder of the left back together, like so, towards that part. Okay, I'm going to be joining it together like so. There is no sleeve attachment on the left side of the cape, so it's just the shoulders. That is why I'm going to be joining the shoulder of the left front and the shoulder of the right front together, like so. So I'll be using my cello tape to tape it down very nicely so it doesn't disturb, or you see what I'm doing clearly. So having done this now, I'm going to be measuring 1.5 inches from this part of the armhole, like so, 1.5 inches. So after having measured the 1.5 inch, I'll also be measuring the same 3.5 inch, and I'll be measuring the same 3.5 inch. Okay, from that 1.5 inch, I measure 3.5 inches. So I'm adding an additional paper also to complete or to measure up for that 3.5 inch. Okay, so I've added an additional paper to that, and I'm going to be taping it down like so. So having done that, I'm going to be marking 3.5 inches. Okay. So having done that now, on that 3.5 inch line, you want to draw the second cape on the left side of the blouse. The second cape or inset band, okay, like so. Also, we are going to be drawing the other part of it also, like so, just to meet the other one at that part where the other one enters into. Just look closely, you understand what I'm saying. I probably might not know the right words to use, but I'm sure if you're watching this video closely, you understand everything that I am doing. So this part that I just ruled out is the part that is the cape for the left side of the front. So having done that, we'll also be going into the back of it, and because I used 3 inches for the right back, I'll also be using 3 inches for the left back, just so when I attach my zipper, the cape, they are in line. You know, it's not looking irregular. One is not higher than the other. They are in line. So I've gone ahead to attach an additional paper just so it helps me do this clearly. So I'll be getting the 3 inches also, which is same thing that I used for the right side back, for the right back. I'm throwing it here and I'm doing the same thing here, 3 inches for the right back. Remember, 1 inch on top of the neckline, higher than the normal neckline, then 2 inches downwards from our normal neckline. Okay, if that makes sense, just exactly as I'm doing in this video. And I'll be using my marker to put that down. And also consider your center back. Okay, having done that now, I'll be using my marker to rule it out, and that is the cape for the left back. As you can see, the shape is already forming, but this is not where we are going to stop. Okay, this is not where we're going to stop. I'm going to have to remove the excess papers around just so it's clear and you understand more clearly. I'm removing the excess papers which I wouldn't be needing. Be careful so that you don't tamper with your foundation pattern. Okay, do not tamper with your foundation pattern because you'll be needing it also. So having done this now, this is the shape. of that cape, of that inset band. Yes, or you can call it a collar or an inset band or a cape, but the right word is the inset band. So this is the shape, and we're not stopping at this. Okay, we're not stopping at this. We're going to give it that standing effect, and I want you to sit back and watch to the end how we're going to give it that standing effect. Okay, so I've gone ahead to trace out all those capes. I've gone ahead to trace them out, and I'm showing you like so. This is it. This is the right front. This is the right front. I've traced it out. Okay, also this is the left front. I've traced it out. Okay, same thing I did to the back. The right back, I've traced it out, and also the left back also, I've gone ahead also to trace it out. The left front also, I've gone ahead to trace it out. So I haven't traced out all these inset bands or capes. We are going to be working on them just to give it that standing effect. We are going to be working on them just to give it that standing effect. So I went ahead to label clearly my right front outward cape. Okay, let me show you. Okay, from the pattern, this is outward cape, that place that stands, you know. Then inward cape is the part where you are going to be stitching to the dress. Inward cape. And I've also gone ahead to label my shoulder. Just label properly so it will be easier for you to work on. I'm going to label every part of this very particular inset band, both the front and the back. And this is what we want to do, just so we get that standing effect. Okay, just so we get that standing effect, we are going to be slashing and spreading this pattern. So I'll be marking 4 inches from my shoulder, from that shoulder, like we've labeled. I'm going to be marking 4 inches. Okay, I'll be using my ruler to take this down, and I'm going to be slashing and spreading between that 4-inch gap. That is where I'm going to be slashing and spreading only. So we are going to be cutting to and not through. Remember, the inward cape is where we are stitching to our bodies. We are not cutting it. We want the length to be the same. Where we only need the fullness is the outward cape. Okay, so that is where we are going to be adding the fullness to, and you're going to be cutting, slashing and spreading like so. Putting this on another paper, I'm going to be slashing and spreading like so. Consider also your shoulder line and make sure it is straight. You're not slashing and spreading like you need a flare. No, it's not a flare. We just need a little added fullness. Maybe about 0.5 inch distance between the two. Just distance, 0.5 inch fullness. Like so. Just like I'm doing in this video. Like so, okay? And I'm going ahead to tape that down. That's what I'm going to be doing to the rest of the inset band or cape or collar, whichever one is easier for you to understand. So that makes sense. Please, if you're watching this video, watch carefully and you're going to understand every details concerning this very particular tutorial. So from that shoulder line, I'll go ahead to mark 0.5 inch only on the outward cape. You should know where is outward cape by now. Only on the outward cape, and I'll be joining it to the inward cape. Same line as the inward cape. As you can see, we didn't add anything to the inward cape, we only added to the outward cape. And I'll be drawing the shape of this cape like so. And going in with my scissors, I'll go ahead to cut it with my scissors, but before then I have to tape it down just so it's flatly laid, and I'll see what I'm cutting clearly and not make a wrong cut. Okay, so I'm gonna have to cut this down also. So this is what our right front cape looks like. Same thing we are going to be doing to the left front cape. Okay, same thing. And for the back now, consider the center back, 1 inch inward from the center back, and I'll be using my ruler to take that down as a guideline. we do not want to touch the shoulder part. We're only going to be spreading between these lines, just a little between these lines, okay? That's where we're going to be spreading. We need the fullness at the neckline alone. So basically, we are spreading where we need fullness. We are spreading where we need fullness, okay? We are spreading at the neckline. That is where we need the fullness. And we're not spreading much, just 0.5 inch, added fullness. And this is it for the center back. For the back piece also, for the back cape also. I'm also gonna have to add ½ inch to the shoulder, just like we did to the front cape. We're also doing to the back cape. You add ½ inch only to the outward cape, and you want to blend that also to the center back like so. My center back looks like it isn't straight, so I'm going to use my ruler to straighten it down, okay? And I haven't done this now, we're going to be cutting this out, okay? So now we're working on the foundation pattern. Please do not get confused, okay? It's self-explanatory. We're going back to the foundation pattern. And I'm going to be closing up my side bust dart just so I get my princess seam. This is what we've been doing in this tutorial. I mean, if you've been following my channel, you should be a guru in princess seam bustier by now, because that is one of my selling points, okay? So having done that now, we are going to be taking out this very particular pattern. Let me not call it the cape, because our cape is set aside now. We're going to be taking out this very particular pattern, just so we separate it from the main bodies. We want to separate it from the main bodies because it's going to aid our stitching. It's going to aid us while we are sewing, okay? So drop a comment and tell me which part is the plain and which part is the pattern. Where am I going to be using as my ankara and where is the plain, okay? Just drop a comment and tell me which part you feel is supposed to be the plain and the pattern. So I'll be setting this aside now and also working on the bodice again. This part is actually that mesh net, that part of the net that looks like her bodice. That's where I just set aside now, the part that is the net. So having done this now, I'll be taping this part down just so it eases us the stress of S. I'll be taping this part down also. And remember I said I'm going to be making this dress a peplum, okay? So it's actually a stylish peplum. How do I explain it now? That peplum that is on, like it's on one side, that kind of peplum that is on one side, from the center front is kind of straight. Okay, let's go ahead and you understand what I'm trying to do now. From the center front on the left, I marked 1.5 inches and I drew a straight line like a guideline. And I sort of want to curve it, like curve to the waistline. That kind of peplum that is on the sides of your front and back bodies. I don't know how best to explain this, but I hope you understand. Also, I marked 1.5 inch on the right side also. Okay, and I'm also curving this down. I'll be using the left to through the back, just so they are in uniform, okay? So having done that now, I'm going to be cutting this out. Oops, I need to tape that part down just so it doesn't cut off entirely and I don't get confused, okay? So I'm going to be cutting that part down to my waistline. And now I'm going to be removing my darts. Please remember to mark your notches. Remember to mark notches. Remember to write underbust, half length, just whatever you're going to write to help you understand and you don't get confused as you get ahead with the sewing process and all that. Also, we are going to be doing the stitching also, but it's in the next video. So using the left, I'm going to be chewing the back because they are both front sides. They are both front, so I don't want the left to be different from the right. So I'm using one side to mark out the other part. And I haven't done that now. going to be having something like so, and I'll be cutting it out. This part I'm cutting out is actually the peplum. I'm going to be slashing and spreading it to form that peplum, okay? I'm going to be slashing and spreading it to form the peplum. So I'm going to have to label left and right. And also I'll be eliminating my dart just so we get a fitted bodice, If you follow my tutorial, you know you eliminate that whenever you want to have a fitted dress, okay? As you can see, I didn't eliminate the dart at the peplum area. That part I'm using for the peplum, I only eliminated the dart for the part where we want it to be fitted, okay? So this is it for now. And this is what the front looks like. This is what the front looks like. This very down part is going to be peplum. I'm going to be slashing and spreading it to form a flare. So going over to the back, also I'll be removing this part of the back, okay? And also tell me if this space is going to be plain or pattern. Leave the comment in the comment section. So I'll go ahead to mark 1.5 inch or so for my center back, and using the straight rule just as a guideline, okay? I'll also be drawing that curved line, the curve. That's the way I want the peplum to be, just kind of stylish, okay? Just so a curve, something like that. I can't wait to sew this dress and see what is going to come out very beautiful. I already see that. I'm already seeing that it's going to come out very beautiful. So having done this now, we are going to be determining our princess seam for the back. So I'll be marking my mid armhole, and using my French curve, I'm going to be connecting the mid armhole to the bust point of the back, okay, like so. So having done that now, we'll go ahead to cut out all the necessary parts that we're cutting out, okay? We'll go ahead to cut out this like so, eliminating the darts also. Just cut according to the shape of what you've drawn, okay? Cut according to the shape of all that you have drawn. And I'll be setting my peplum for the back also aside. Be sure you label, just so when you're cutting on your fabric, you do not have issues. Please be sure you label, okay? So I'm also eliminating the dart here also for the back. So I went ahead to mark the line where my back bust point is, like so. And I'm going to have to eliminate the dart. And then this is what we are having for the back. I'm going to have to label left back. This is what we are having for the back. Same thing we did to the left, we're also going to be doing to the back, okay? So having done that now, I'm going to have to cut this out on the pattern on my fabric, the back, and also the front. I'll see you in the sewing tutorial. You don't want to miss the sewing part of it. Thanks for watching. Love you. Bye.